Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boyce, just come to you with some Diamond League destruction on the map Cloud Kingdom LE. Spying down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have Supaflyz as the red Protoss, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent Excel as the blue Protoss. And as we kick off this game, I would just like to really quickly comment on my situation with fuck you YouTube. The new layout is horrible. Really YouTube? This is like the 4th time you've changed up freaking everything. And just ruined everyone's channel ever. It's very annoying. I don't know why anybody wanted to make a white-on-white background, not blackground, but it's actually a white background. But a white-on-white like layout, it's kind of stupid. I'm not sure if they knew that when they made it, but it's definitely a little bit on the stupid side. We do have a pylon going down for Supaflyz in kind of an interesting spot. Usually people put their pylons up here just because they're extremely it's extremely easy to get probes like right up there, drop it, and run them back to the mineral fields. But honestly, here isn't really that different as far as probe runtime goes. It's maybe an extra second or so to get out there and back again. We do have the more standardly placed pylon going down for Excel, so it's going to be kind of interesting, because this is typically like a hiding tech situation as far as what Supaflyz is doing, but it's not like he's going to be hiding any complex tech from his opponent when his opponent brings out an observer, because the first probe scout that gets into his base is going to completely scout this gateway, because Excel is going to be running around looking for it, and it's not that far off the beaten path. He's just going to run up, juke a little bit to the left, and there we go. In fact, we just see him seeing it, just going straight back into the base like a perfectly normal probey probe. We do have the gateway coming up for Excel, and this probe running around looking for proxies, a little bit on the interesting side. That's definitely an odd scout path, especially because now he doesn't have nearly as much information on his opponent. I mean, usually if you're scouting for proxies, you check out your opponent's base, and if they don't have anything in their base, then you send out the probe to do like the two-pronged scout, both up and down, and you probably drop a second gateway before your cybernetics score, because that's a very risky type of play to see happening, is any sort of play where your opponent doesn't have a pylon in their main base, because that's a little bit on the awkward side, and that's definitely cause for alarm. But this is weird. This is definitely weird from Supaflyz. Very weird from Supaflyz, because he actually has not gotten any scouting information. At this point, Excel might have a stalker before the probe gets there. Now, of course, he won't, because he dropped an extremely late cybernetic score, like disgustingly late cybernetic score. So he's actually going to be perfectly fine as far as getting there before a stalker. But this element might be able to shut down a little bit of scouting information from this probe. Now, of course, we do have the much faster cybernetic score from Supaflyz, being extremely nice there. He is now getting his warp gate, and this warp gate upgrade is going to be extremely faster than his opponent's, about 15 seconds, which is a lot for a PvP. That's quite a big lead, and that's even if Excel like chrono boosted all the way, because I'm guessing that Supaflyz is going to be chrono boosting quite a bit. Actually, maybe not. Huh. Excel might actually, with proper chrono boosts, keep that kind of even, but it looks like he does not quite know what a chrono boost is as the scouting probe does finally go down. I just got like the weirdest snot ball in my nose, and it was really bothering me when I was talking. That's a little bit on the disgusting side, but I felt like telling you guys anyway, because I think you deserve to know why I sound kind of weird right now, because I can't figure out like how to get rid of it without not being able to talk for 30 seconds. And this is definitely one of the weirdest and longer tangents I've ever been on. But that's because we haven't seen a whole lot of information here. We have the Zealots now moving down to the natural, but they're not doing a whole heck of a lot. The warp gate is going to finish up fairly rapidly for Supaflyz, and Excel has not even started chrono boosting out. In fact, he's just chrono boosting out stalkers at this point, which is a little bit on the interesting side. We do have a Stargate. Ooh, a Stargate coming up for Supaflyz. It's going to be very exciting to see what he does with that. Stargates are not a usual choice in PvP. In fact, most people would say they're a pretty shitty choice in PvP, but that's because for the most part they are. Stalkers are just so good in PvP that it's not really even worth going Stargates, because all your Void Rays and all your Phoenixes and all your carriers just get wrecked by Stalkers, and that's kind of how it happens. It looks like we now have the gateways for Excel still churning out those stalkers, as Warp Gate does get Chrono Boosted to the finish. However, the Warp Gate from Supaflyz is already done, which is a fairly substantial lead. I mean, that's like a 20-30 second Chrono Boosted Warp Gate lead, which, again, very important. Plus the fact that he has sentries down already means that this attack is going to do next to no damage, just because Supaflyz is going to be able to force field off the ramp for like 50 seconds, or at least until he can get another couple sentries out, so that he can keep rotating the force fields permanently. Which puts him in a very, very advantageous position, especially when you consider the type of army he's going for at this point, which is very interesting. I mean, the Phoenix is already coming out. I'm kind of surprised to see that it's Phoenixes coming out, actually, because Phoenixes are especially a thing you don't think of going for against Protoss. And it looks like there is the nice force field action. That was exactly what he wanted to do. And we now have some slicing and some dicing happening at the front of the base. And that's going to be a lot of units lost from Excel for just Zealots out of Supaflyz, which is very important. It looks like he misplaced the second force field a little bit, and actually let that let that Stalker walk off without quite as many cuts as he should have gotten. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. He didn't do that bad. Looks like we have the Nexus now getting dropped for Excel, as Supaflyz doesn't even look like he's even thinking about preparing to commit. But we have the Phoenix harassment now moving out across the center of the map. Excel does have a proxy pylon down, so this harassment, or this, you know, push, might get quite a bit more dangerous in the near future. We do have an Immortal now coming out, which should be able to shut down any sort of Stalker play from his opponent. And here come the Phoenixes. They're going to be sniping off just a couple of probes because they don't have a lot of energy. Looks like there's 3 probes at the natural. Let's see how many probes can they snipe out on the main. It's probably just going to be like another 3, maybe even another 2, because if the one isn't going to have energy to lift. It's going to leave to 50. Nah, okay. Well, that was a little bit on the awkward side. Only 5 probes going down for 3 Phoenix production, which isn't the best. You typically want to get way more probes for the 100, 150, 100 of the Phoenixes. That basically just makes you break even with 1 Phoenix, and you sent out, you know, 4 or 5. And it looks like we now have Stalkers moving across and moving into the main base of Excel as he just defends it from these Phoenixes that still do not have a whole lot of energy. It looks like one of them might go down. The one with high energy. No. Yeah, it run. Oh god. That Stalker scared the crap out of me. That Stalker has 10 health remaining. Ugh, that was a little bit on the sketchy side, definitely. And if we look at the workers killed count, he's now up to 7 versus the 1 worker killed of Excel, which is pretty nicely done. And he's just kind of flying around, having map control, sniping off various different portions of the map forces of his opponent. Yeah, screw it, that makes sense. And it looks like we might have a little bit more harassment going down here. The low health Phoenix is not actually getting targeted, which is a little bit on the bad side for itself. Oh, never mind. I have been proven wrong. It would appear that the low health Phoenix has in fact been targeted and has in fact gone down. It looks like these Phoenixes are now moving out, and are they gonna see that? No. It looks like the low health Phoenix is yet again gonna go down. This is kind of the issue with Phoenixes, is that they are actually extremely squishy. I would not be surprised to see this Immortal get picked up at some point in the near future, because that's a really, really good thing about Phoenixes, is that they are extremely good at disabling those really, really big high health units that typically just wreak havoc in your army, like the Immortal, like the Siege Tank. And you know, you see usually when they're used to great effect, they're used on units like that. Even Infestors are quite commonly picked up and disabled with Phoenixes, because even if you don't get the kill with the Phoenix, just getting it off the battlefield is extremely important. It's like vortexing half of someone's army in a battle, because as soon as that happens, your army has this kind of overwhelming representation on the field that allows you to win. It looks like we have a little bit more harassment going on in the main base, but the Blank Stalkers are done, so this might be the last hurrah for the Phoenixes. I'm not sure if he's actually going to be able to do any more real damage with it. We do have the Immortal lead currently going to our red Protoss player, with 2 Immortals versus the 1 of his opponent. Also, with these Phoenixes in the air, again, that gives him a reasonable lead just because he can disable parts of the army of his opponent, which works out quite well. And honestly, Supaflyz, this is a crazily large army, and it's just a crap ton of Zealots. Here we go with the Mega Wisp, and there the Stalkers are moving into the main base, or the Zealots are moving into the main base. Excuse me, and there are absolutely no sentries at this point, which is awful, because sentries are very, very nice versus this sort of army, and we see beautiful pickups happening from these Phoenixes, keeping these Immortals alive, and that is exactly what you want to do. And I think this might just end up being game for Supaflyz, because I'm not sure, or not Supaflyz, Excel, because I'm not sure quite what he has that can even fight against this sort of army. And there is the GG from Excel. And wow, that was an absolutely crushing victory from Supaflyz after using Phoenix Harassment to a reasonable extent, but it wasn't wonderful. It wasn't crazy. I mean, he only killed, all right, 22 workers, but I'm pretty sure most of those died in this final hurrah at the natural. I'm pretty sure he only killed like 10 workers before he actually sent in his main attack force. So he really just set his opponent off balance with that sort of Phoenix play that really kind of just made him a little bit on the awkward side as far as macro goes, and made him fall behind a whole heck of a lot. So anyway, guys, if you'd like your games commentated, you can send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And if you would like to watch any other games I've commentated, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Thank you all for watching, and this is Boisterous signing out.